Okay, please excuse the bad lighting and probably not the best microphone in the audio, but I've got a lot of friends who have asked me a couple of things about racing, just some pointers that can make you a little bit faster and have a little bit more luck in this beginning. And I also see a lot of people who have experience, at least some, and they still make this same mistake. It's about tires. Tires make the biggest difference. It's not motor. I mean, motor, yes, that can make a difference, but that's not the biggest. So, as far as tires go, at the end of this video, I'm gonna post some clips. You can skip over to them first and watch them. I'd recommend, because it'll help this make sense, what I'm saying. So, having bad tires, whether they're old or overly ran, or like overran, I mean like not taken care of, or slick and blistered and overheated. So I'll show you one of the big things that makes a tire not hook up, and you're going to slide out every time. As far as your motor goes, I seen a 30 horsepower small block open with a billet head get outran by a clone light motor. No, it was actually a Junior 2. Yeah, it was a Junior 2 motor. Outrun a billet head small block open because of tires. So if your tires are looking like this on your card, they just look smooth, dry rotted. Probably not gonna be dry rotted, but if they look smooth like this, these have a little bit of scuffing to them. But if they're completely smooth, and they have like a bluish, like burnt rubber look to them, then they aren't good anymore. And you need to scuff or wash them or do something with them. So when it comes to your, like I was saying about your motor, you can have all the power in the world, but if you don't have traction, you're not gonna win. That's just the end of the story. You're not gonna win. I mean, on a circle track, maybe, but on a oval track with some tight turns, you're gonna have to slow down a lot to get to where you won't spin out. And by the time you come out of turn and start giving it throttle, you gotta wait until you're back straight, because if you're coming out of the turn at a slight angle and you hit the gas, you're spinning. So, unless you're super skilled like that, but let's be real, none of us are that good in that kind of situation to handle tires like that. So if you want to start off in your kart and have a good start, don't worry about a big expensive motor until you have got good tires. Because a box stock, you'll spin out on that just as fast as you will with a small block open. Same thing goes for a clone, anything. You will need good tires. So, like I said, this tire right here, it's gonna hook up a little bit. Not much, it's gonna hook up a little. I'm gonna show you some tires. These are going to be the best thing you could run. Nice scuffing, they're prepped. You can see me drag my hand across them. They're super, super, super grippy. Those right there are some good looking tires. They're not just clean or new. These tires are not new by any means. Because if you look at these little dimples they have, it shows wear. And this tire right here, that used to be a dimple and it's completely gone. Whereas this tire, you can see it's got a lot of dimple left. So these tires ain't new by any means. They're just taken care of, conditioned, and prepped correctly. And like I said, at the end of the video, there's clips you can look at of non-prep tires, non-prepped or scuffed, just worn out, versus a set of tires that I scuffed lightly, and it'll show the difference. And that big difference you get between scuffed and non-scuffed is the same as the difference between prepped and non-prepped. So you get the difference of non-scuffed to scuffed, and then from here you get scuffed but not prepped to scuffed and prepped. So you go from here to here. And when you make that step, then I would recommend worrying about getting a bigger motor, because when I was over there, my motor was fast. In the straightaways, I was outrunning everybody. But when I came to turns, I wasn't outrunning nobody. And even in the straightaways, I was fishtailing. I had no traction. So, that being said, just make sure you're scuffing, take care of your tires, set your chassis up right before you worry about a motor. As far as chassis setup goes, when you get it, set your seat up. I can make a video about seat setup. Set your cross weight. If it's an older frame, it's going to like a lower number, like a 50 to a 60. If it's newer, I've heard they like a 60 to a 70 percentage, right in the middle of there. So it's really just what kind of frame you got. Set that up. Get your cross weight set for the track you're running. Then do camber caster, wheel spacing. Set that up and you're good. Get your tires set. And then once you've done that, worry about that motor. But before you go blow $9,000 on a billet animal and then be like, dang, I can't stop spinning out, or dang, this thing is slow, I need something more. Probably not, because the reason you're not going fast is because you're spinning. You're not gonna go fast if you're just spinning, and you won't even realize you're spinning when you are. And really, I've had more luck with a low gearing and a low horsepower motor being slow in the straightaways, going against someone with a high-end motor with bad tires, spinning out, or just having to go real slow through the turns, and I can fly around them on the outside in the turn. So, like I said, tires, set your chassis up, then worry about your motor. And that would be the biggest tip that I can give you if you're a new racer or just wondering how to get that little bit of speed out. And as far as motor goes, I can give y'all a cheap, affordable build, because most people are going to want to charge to build one. You're looking at anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000 to $3,000 for a clone. I've seen them go for as much as, well, I've seen them go for about $1,800, $2,000. A small block open, you're talking $4,000 there. So, really, just on motor, it just depends on what class you want to run. Your clone classes are more competitive, a little more expensive, and a little harder to win in, unless you want to spend that kind of money. Small block open, it's really who knows how to get the power out of the motor, and who knows how to do tires and chassis setup, because sometimes you're not going to bring a good mill home if you shoot a squirrel with a cannon. Sometimes there's such thing as too big. Like, if you're on a little bitty track, you're going to want that little motor. Trust me, a box stock is going to do way better than that billet animal. But with that being said, that's the end of the video. Besides these clips coming up, pay a little bit of attention. That was not my first rodeo. I'd raced before that. I had a bad setup. How can I show that? My front wheels, one was kicked out. No, it was my right wheel was kicked out more than it needed to be. So I was fighting my steering. My tire pressures were off. Make sure you got the right tire pressure. On my left, I run a 5. On my right, I run a 6. That's what I like. And sometimes on my rear, I like to get it a little bit lower. Keep in mind roll speed. You take your tire PSIs too low, your motor's going to fight harder to make that roll. But also you lose traction when you make them tight, but it rolls easier. So it's just pick your battle. Like, if you know you've got traction, I'd air them things up a little bit more until you're to where you can slightly get the slide on purpose. Or if you're doing something that you really wouldn't be doing, get it on that fine line, get the most roll speed you can, and make that thing move freely. Like, it comes with like bearings. If you run stainless steel bearings, ball bearings, in your rear axle, this is not going to be as free spinning as a ceramic bearing. A ceramic bearing is just less load for the motor to pull, and a light hollow axle is going to be less load on the motor. So really just take that into consideration and watch these clips and take note of how bad I was doing, and then watch the next clips where I got the cart ready. And the real next clip was the main one I want you to pay attention to. Is the first couple, and then like the very, very last one. You'll notice my cart is black like it is now with numbers on the front and back. pay close attention to that video and you'll notice how fast I was going in the turns compared to the first video. And that being said, appreciate you watching.